Hello everyone and welcome back to Starsector with me, JD Colley. So we need to crush that Pather base that I left out at the end of last episode. And ooh, that fleet wants to get us too. That's fine. Ooh, that is a lot of people, but that's good. We can engage them outside the range of the station. 58,000 credits, no thank you. Continue. And move in to engage. Alright, for this fight, I think we're really going to send in everything. That was a very large fleet. That looks pretty good. I'll leave out the wolf and these two guys for pursuit, I think. And yeah, that should be it. With Pathers, having just ships on the field is often just as important as having powerful ships, simply because you'll just have more hit points on the field to absorb damage, which can be critically important against a group that relies on mass tactics the way the Path do. So just gonna throw my entire fleet at them and see what sticks. I guess I should have set up my defense points too, but there we go. Oh well. One wasted command point, but that's okay. I apologize that it's been so long since the last episode. You know, just had a lot going on with the baby and some scheduling conflicts, so haven't been able to get the episode out. And I did actually have it previously recorded, but had a corruption issue with the footage, so we're redoing it, which is unfortunate, but well, it just happens sometimes. So we're here and we're doing it. So good. That's the way I like to see things start. Colossus is exploding. Colossi? I don't know. Alright, we're going to go for a little more aggressive play this time around. I've been kind of using this thing in the past video as a mobile firing platform, which is okay, but not really what the Conquest is designed for. And in this case, I think I'm going to try and use it a bit more aggressively. Skirt around the edges of their fleet to hem them in and to kill them as fast as possible. Because the Conquest really does have pretty phenomenal DPS if you let it. It's part of the reason I have these Mjolnirs. Because they're not super efficient, but they are extremely powerful. I guess in that regard, they're kind of similar to the plasma cannon. There's a lot of flux, but boy, it does a lot of damage. Vent really quick. And then get back in there. Alright. I'm going to cancel that one. I'm going to move it there, try and push them through that mass of ships while I take out these two carriers back here. There's somebody up there too, probably. Yep, another Tarsus. Don't think I'm going to worry about him too much, so he's outside of the encirclement, so. I'm going to vent even though it's in front of the auto pulse laser, because I don't want to have my shields down for that. Oof. Paid for a little bit, but I think we'll be okay. Yeah, I really should put ECCM on there, but oh well. Enemy fleet is defeated. You guys go to clean up that. You go clean up that. Oh, nice. They both dodged the wreck. I don't think they're gonna. No, they're not gonna hit him. All right. There we go. That was pretty solid. Good deployment there. We're going to pursue them. Clean them up with our little frigates. Yeah, nothing of value escaped. Don't care about ship recovery. They're Pather ships. Take everything. And there we go. No, I don't want it. I'm sure it's a wonderful ship to have, but not wonderful enough. All right. Let's see. We could raid them. I think we'll do that. Lost 1 Marine, but we gained 42 supplies and 183 fuel, so well, I'll take it. Alright, let's crush this thing. I'm going to deploy pretty heavily against that. Battle stations are not a joke. They're not star fortresses, but I don't want to get messed up by that, so. Alright. Don't get overwhelmed there, Falcon. Try and scoot in a bit. Just in range of the guns. Come on. That was unnecessary. There we go. They're firing now. Ooh, whoops. I was paying attention to their ship, not to my own. Let's turn to the side there. And this is, of course, the advantage of having a symmetrical conquest. There are two schools of thought on the subject. Some people like to have a asymmetrical conquest where they put all the guns on one side, while others tend to like to have it like me, where they have it symmetrical. There's advantages to both. A symmetrical conquest is able to share armor between sides, and, you know, adjust its spacing to deal with threats. A asymmetrical conquest can have a lot of ordnance points put into, you know, more useful things. Although a big problem with the asymmetrical approach is that the conquest has large ballistic integration, which makes all of its large ballistic weaponry much cheaper. So it's actually fairly difficult to find anything cheaper than the large ballistic slots anyway to put on it. So oftentimes you don't save that much unless you leave the slot empty. So, I mean, you can do it, and it certainly can be worked well. There are definitely people who make great use of it. So, it just happens to be something to consider. Though, to be honest, people who like conquests figure out ways to make them work, and people who don't like conquests aren't going to start using them just because there might be a way to make them useful. People seem pretty divided on the topic of this ship, and that's fine, you know. To each their own, especially when it comes to your favorite capitals. There's ways to use all of them appropriately. So, all right. Let's get rid of this thing. little guy is waking up. That's okay. He can squirm for a bit. He's doing all right. Oh, that's a thing of beauty. Just watching a space station melt like that. Ah, gotta love it. There we go. All right. Got some good salvage and gained a tremendous amount of experience, as well as a level, which is not easily done at this point in the game. All right, so our strategic situation has not changed since the last episode. However, I think what I'm going to do is spend some time moving the clock forward so that we can get some construction and such done on these planets, and I'll come back to you with whatever major event happens next, whether that be a serious capital level fight or an invasion or whatever. So I will see you in a moment. So some time has passed, about half a year or more, if I remember correctly. Several of our planets have grown in size. They're now size 5 or size 6 in the case of Trensolar. We also have high commands and battle stations in most of these places. I don't believe Androzani Major or Minor does. Yeah, we're an orbital station and patrol HQ. We don't have the industry slots to upgrade this right now, but we will upgrade this to a battle station. Now this has reached the point where if I was anywhere near my home sector of Yakum, I would begin putting alpha cores in these structures to help them produce more goods, specifically in the case of probably fuel production, our orbital works here, and probably mining, as well as I would most likely give control of one of these planets, these two planets, to an alpha core, probably Asbiel, and then I would colonize the 4th planet in Yaquam. However, I'm nowhere near that right now. I am in the far corner of the sector. I'm within range of Yaquam, but I just kind of, since the last point at which I was recording, just kind of traveled down, took a couple bounties on pirate stations, and then just kind of explored my way backwards. So I didn't find too much of use, with one notable exception, and that would be right here in the form of an astral. I have finally received the astral blueprints, which many people will argue are probably the key to domination of the sector. Once you have these things, you really can take on most stuff. It would be nice to have something bigger and stronger, a dominator, or not dominator, an onslaught, or a paragon would be an excellent thing to have. But in terms of just massive force projection, there's very little that can contend with an astral. So I'm very pleased to have those, and that really kind of cements my fleet, or my defense fleets, as a serious contender in the sector. I also found the Legion, which is nice, and then I still have the Odyssey of blueprints that I previously had. So overall, we're doing quite well. I'm not sure why a Prometheus would show up in my fleet there, but whatever. It's just a sample fleet. Anyway, that makes us pretty well set now. I'm feeling quite confident in my system, and when I return I will set up those things I just mentioned. But what I wanted to show you is this. It's the Domain Era Cryosleeper. This is one of the massive vessels of legend which transported millions of human immigrants from the core systems of the Domain out into the great frontier stretching from the Sagittarius Arm across the Orion Spur. Judging by the weak but stable EM read on the sensors, many of the sleeper caskets remain viable even after so many hundreds of cycles here on the wild shores of the Perseus Arm. There are 2 of these in the entire sector every time. They're always generated in the outer reaches, generally in one of the corners. I think the other one's was over here somewhere. At any rate, they're way out there. But they do grant unique buildings if you manage to capture one of these things. So we are going to try and fight this. We're a little bit better positioned to do so than the last time we came across one. And we're going to engage it. There's only one defender, but they are functionally unique. Well, there's 2 of them, but there's only 2 in the sector. So here you go. It is a Guardian class standard drone battleship. This thing is not a joke. Unlike the drone ships you fought prior to this thing is devastatingly powerful. It moves very, very quickly, has a huge alpha strike, and is generally just a monster of a ship. It can be soloed by a well-tanked Paragon, probably by a better flown Conquest, but I'm just going to mark the thing with everything I have pretty much. So let's see how this goes. I don't want to bring in the little guys per se. They're a bit too squishy. Oh, actually, one thing I wanted to show you guys, if you're having troubles with your small ships pulling ahead of your more powerful vessels, what you can do is just deploy your big ships first, like this, and then before you even unpause the game, just hit G again for reinforcements, and deploy your smaller ships, like so. As you can see, they're now coming in behind. On smaller battles, this will prevent your small ships from, or on larger battles, this prevent your small ships from running ahead of the others. In this case, it probably was unnecessary, but still, we'll still do it here just as an example. Okay. I'll be honest, I'm scared of these things. I think we'll do just fine, but... Come on. Oh dear. I don't want him deciding to come after me. Of course, I also don't want him getting away. Come here, you. Honestly, I don't think it has any chance against us. Once we corner it, it's gonna die. Its plasma cannons are scary, but the truth is it just doesn't have the tank to survive the sheer amount of missiles we can throw at it. And that will be its undoing in the end, so... It might take one of us with it, though. No, probably not. The pirate Falcons just caught up to it, and that will probably kill it. And boom. Whew. No losses. Oh man, I wish you could get one of those things. They're beautiful ships, and that would be an awesome reward for having beaten one, but oh well. We'll take our stuff. As you can see, I have surveyed a whole just ton of planets as I was roaming around. Also found a bunch of inconsequential blueprints, pirate stuff, you know. The Legion and the Astral are the only really real things of note, but we'll confirm and continue. All right. The long-haul cryosystems were built to last for centuries of interstellar travel, so it's no surprise that most of the pod's support machinery reads as functional. While safe sleeper revival is beyond the capability of your fleet, a colony established in this system could benefit from a huge influx of population if it built facilities to awaken long-haul sleepers. Your executive officer cautions that it's unknown whether having sleepers make up a large percentage of a colony's population would cause any physical or psychological issues down the line. And there we go. We have conquered the cryosleeper. There's no more thing we can do there, but if we were to create a colony in the system, which to be honest we absolutely could because there's a habitable planet here. We'll zip along. Also, if you notice on the map, there's a unique symbol. It is unique to the cryosleepers. You will only see it for them currently, unless they decide to add something else from the domain era stuff. Well, the heavy batteries, it has Bueller complete. But anyway. Not bad at all. Nice. Okay. Alright, I'm not going to establish a colony. But if I did, you would be able to, I think it's called like Cryo Sleep Awakening Facility or something like that. I can't remember. It's a unique facility only buildable on planets within a system that has a cryosleep or a cryosleep pod, you know, domain era cryosleeper thingy. Yeah. And it gives you a huge bonus to your population. To my knowledge, there is no side effect from using it, like the game kind of implies there might be. But that doesn't mean there isn't one that I just don't know about, and or that they won't decide to add one in the future. By the way, aside from being really far away, this is actually quite a decent system. There are no volatiles here that I know of, but other than that, the system is quite well set up. It has habitable planets. I don't think any of these are above 175. Let me check real quick. 25, 25, and 25. Yeah, that's a pretty solid system. It's too bad the resources aren't as excellent as they could be, but at least in terms of habitability, this is pretty excellent. Still, personally, I would never settle this far out unless I was playing a modded game where other people had spread out into the periphery, because this is just way too far away. Anyway, I think now I will continue my trek back home, and I will come back to you when I get there. All right, we're back in Yaquam. I apologize, I actually recorded this a bit earlier, but my son woke up in the middle of it and kind of low-key squawked through the entire thing, which totally ruined the audio. I didn't really notice it at the time because I'm wearing headphones, but yeah, he was grunting and stuff, which made it kind of hard to listen to. As a result, I'm re-recording this, and yeah, so we're just going to go over really quick what I did. I sold a bunch of stuff to get a bunch of money, which I then spent on things. On what things, you may ask? Well, I upgraded this battle station. Let's see, also upgraded the spaceport here, and yeah, actually that station is going to be a star fortress, and that costs 1 million credits to do that upgrade. So yeah, that was pretty much all my money between those two upgrades. You may also notice I put alpha cores and beta cores in everything, everything except the orbital works here in Asbiel, and that was not intentional, I just kind of forgot. But I put the alpha cores in the high commands and in the battle stations / star fortresses because they make a great difference. See, alpha cores and or beta cores and gamma cores just decrease. Well, you can see here. No, I'm not at the colony. If you had just a gamma core, will reduce the demand of an industry by 1. A beta core will reduce the demand and the upkeep cost by 25%. You can see it there, reduces upkeep cost by 25% and demand by 1. And then alpha cores do the same thing. They will reduce the upkeep cost by 25%, increase the production by 1, and reduce demand by 1. So they're obviously the best, they're just hard to get. However, when you put in things like heavy batteries, star fortresses, high command, stuff like that, they have an additional ability rather than increasing production. In the case of the high command, they increase fleet size by 25%. In the case of the ground defenses, I believe they'll increase the ground defenses by 50%, but it could just be 25. I'm not exactly certain. And in the case of star fortresses and battle stations and stuff, they give your star fortress a commander, a level 20 commander, actually. And in case you didn't know, a star fortress with a level 20 commander is a thing to truly fear. It is a devastating weapon. There's not going to be much that can get through a star fortress with a level 20 commander, and that includes the player. You don't want to fight that unless you have to. You can encounter them in the world, and it sucks. So, yeah, this is definitely a good defensive choice. I would make more money if I had placed them in these slots, probably, but I think making myself nigh unassailable would be a better choice. Additionally, I gave over command of Asbiel to an alpha core. The reason is because I did not want to spend my character points here in colony management. Instead, I put them here into gunnery implants to give myself some additional ballistic range, or ballistic and energy weapon range. Those last few points I really wasn't sure what to do with, but I did not want to put them there because I have alpha cores. Alpha cores are basically the same thing as this, which is awesome. So, what else did we do? Oh yeah, like I said, upgrading the spaceport, the reason for this is because increasing the accessibility will be great, and that's pretty much the only weakness my colony currently has is the megaportless access, because if we go back to, say, Trenzalore, it has 123%. This is due to our megaport being awesome. And oh, I was able to sell my goods that I mentioned earlier because I have a commerce here on Androzani Minor. I like to build one of these in every system I colonize just because it's so convenient to be able to sell stuff to your own colonies. It's just nice. Additionally, if you sell things, it can shore up supplies so you can have surpluses, which is fun. Not really particularly important, but it's cool. All right. And then was there anything else that I did? I'm trying to think. Not really. Let's look through these. Oh, yes, there is one more important thing. I colonized the new planet. This is the fourth and final planet. As you can see, it's in system. These are all in Yaquam. Because I gave over control of Asbiel to an AI, I was able to colonize this planet without a issue. It's not giving me a stability malus as a result, and this will quickly become a powerful colony. I've added heavy industry just for fun and because I like it. And because actually if we go to custom production here, I have the ability to produce ships now due to my orbital works and well, because of my heavy industry. And this is the amount I can produce. So if I take an Odyssey here, I'll be able to produce half an Odyssey every month. Well, actually, half an Astral, which, by the way, I got the blueprints for the Astral, I got the blueprints for the Legion, and I got the blueprints for the Eagle. Those were the only things I really found out there, but they're awesome. I think I mentioned those two before, but I don't think I mentioned the Eagle. Anyway, I can build half an Astral every month, or, well, one Astral every 2 months because 200,000 production capacity. The total cost is 400,000, so it'll just do as much as it can. Per month. This is subtracted from your income automatically, so you just won't get as much money. It's not actually charging you, as far as I know. Now, once this is completed, your income will go back up, but this production capacity is based upon your number of ship's hulls and weapons commodities you produce, as it says there in the tooltip. And if I had put an alpha core in the orbital works industry, this would increase. I didn't, so it doesn't here, but building more heavy industry and then upgrading the orbital works will, in both cases, increase my production capacity. So if all 4 planets had heavy industry, this would be significantly higher, which is my goal because I want to be able to produce as many ships as I can if I, say, get fleet wiped and want to rebuild my fleet as quickly as possible, which I totally have the capacity to do now. Now, having this Astral is really, really important. It is really the linchpin. This ship is capable of projecting enough firepower to go toe-to-toe with most things in the sector, and really is what is giving my fleets the stopping power they need to be able to contend with the really, truly powerful fleets in the sector. And if we look back at, wrong button, clear orders, yes. If we go back to our colonies, you can see we're really quite strong now. Between all of these fully upgraded industries, a income that's totaling in the 500,000s per month, and will only keep increasing as we keep adding industries, and then defenses that are star fortresses and high commands overlap each other within the same system. Because as you can see, these planets aren't that far apart. Anyone that comes through these jump points is going to get dogpiled by all of the defensive fleets. Not to mention, we're friends with the Independents, so we have a bunch of mercenary patrols running around our system. This system is truly unassailable for any of the core worlds. There's nothing they can do to us. And so you may ask yourself, well, where do we go from here? What should I do next? And the truth is, that's not the question you should be asking. The question you should be asking is, what do I want to do next? Because you now have the foundation to do whatever you want in Starsector. This system will not fall. The only way you could possibly lose it that I'm aware of is if you went out and colonized like 20 different planets, managed to start losing tons of money at all of them, and that bankrupted you. and that could cause problems at Yaquim, but that's basically it. These guys aren't going to be able to do it. If we go here, actually, let's go to our colony threats. There's a bunch of them. Athletic paths all over us. Pirates are all over us. Hellenic Church is after us. Soon there's going to be hegemony patrols coming after us. But you look at this, it's fairly strong. It's outmatched and outmatched. It has no chance against us. And that's true of any fleet that's going to come our way. If we go back into our colony listings, you can see our stability is 10, even with the pirate activity and the Ludic Path activity, and being a free port, because we're getting +3 from our Star Fortress and +2 from our High Command, and +1 from our heavy batteries. We're rolling in stability. So there's not much they can do to us there. They can't really affect our accessibility due to the megaport dramatically increasing it. Hostilities with other factions, if we start being hostile to everyone, of course, this will eventually fall down fairly far, but we'll still have accessibility. You really have to do a lot to bring this into untenable range. So basically, we've made it. This is it. This is the end game right here. If you want to go conquer the core worlds, you've now got the ability to do it. Even if you lose your conquering fleet, your conquest fleet of massively powerful ships, you just go home and rebuild it. It might take a few months, but you'll get it back. It will be yours again. If you want to go explore all these systems over here, like I haven't even been anywhere past this line in the sector, you can do that because your home world is safe. And additionally, you have fuel production here, you have supply production here, you have crews and marines. Everything you need is here. You don't need to worry about these guys anymore. They're not necessary for your success. If you wanted to go colonize this place, Bedamu, I mentioned that this would be a terrible place for a colony, and that's true if this is your first colony, but with somewhere like Yaquim set up, this becomes a lot more tenable because it'll be bankrolling you. You'll be able to have money flowing in to keep this place solvent until it's able to do it on its own, which will take a while, yes. But having that domain era cryosleeper make it take a lot less time than you might think, and soon you'll have a powerful set of planets again. So by all means, if you feel like it now, roll on out to Bedamu or whatever places like it in your sector and take control of these weird planets. Go colonize all over the place because now this place doesn't need your help. So you can go set up another system and defend it until it's on its feet, and then once it's able to defend itself again, you can just move on until you control a crazy amount of the sector. It's all in your hands now. Roll into Asconia, take over Voltern and steal their lobster, take over control of the lobster market. It's a great idea. It's lots of fun. There is so much for you to do now in Starsector, and you're no longer limited by fear of failure. You're not going to fail in the game. There's a bottom to how far you can fall now, barring some extreme behavior. You got to do something really dumb right now to kick the safety net out from under yourself. Even if you get your fleet totally wiped out, you just go back to Yaquim and build a new one. Heck, you can be building a new one while you're using the current one if you want. You can go farm AI cores from high threat sectors by just killing the fleets over and over again and leaving the space stations alone. Whatever you want to do. It's all there for you now. So guys, thank you so much for watching this series. I really hope that you guys have learned as much as I have. I've definitely learned a lot about the game. I mean, I thought I knew a lot about it beforehand, but I have learned a ton more. And hopefully you did too along the way. This is probably the end of this one. I don't think there's any real need to continue. Anything beyond this point would probably be spoilers that you should find out on your own. It's part of the fun of exploration and discovery in this game. I do want to make a modded series. I'll be looking at the polls I put in the last video to decide which mods to put in, and I'll probably be starting that next week, time permitting. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you next time.